With global warming only growing as a problem, extreme weather patterns grow as well. Tornadoes, thunderstorms, hurricanes, and snowstorms are common across the U.S., and some cities get hit harder than others. We will continue to see growth in these weather patterns, and soon, some of the rare occurrences will become common. As time passes, these cities will only become more at risk of dealing with extreme weather events, in turn making it more dangerous to live in these cities. Before we begin our video, be sure to hit the like button to help us out. We're excited to share 10 of the top stormiest cities in America. Now, here are 10 cities that make our list. Number 10. Chicago, Illinois. Coming in at number 10, we have the windy city, Chicago. It may be far from the ocean, but it's next to the Great Lake, Michigan, so storms and high winds are a staple of the city. Getting to the nitty-gritty of the area, on average every year Chicago gets 35.8 inches of rain and 38 thunderstorms a year. This number might seem low, and it is. That's why it's so low on the list. And there's also the snowfall every year. The average snowfall every year in Chicago is 38.4 inches, and it isn't always just light snow when it's coming down. The snow piles up very high, and it's common to see cars drifting through the streets or sliding through intersections. You can find videos taken by residents of snowstorms with lightning occurring within the city. The springs and summers are wet and stormy, the fall is windy, and the winters are cold and extremely snowy. The numbers may be low, but they all add up to a stormy city, and it still deserves a spot on the list. Number 9. Atlanta, Georgia. Next up is Atlanta, probably an unexpected one, but I assure you it is on here for a reason. One of the first stats to get out of the way is the 52 inches of rainfall the city gets every year. This makes it very humid, and with it being between two temperature fronts a lot of the time, it gets a lot of thunderstorms, 48 on average. This makes Atlanta very hot and very humid. Due to it being somewhat near the East Coast, the city has seen its fair share of tropical storms and sometimes a hurricane. Due to it being insulated from hurricanes since it's farther inland, the city often is hit with tropical storms that branch off from hurricanes or just tropical storms that travel inland. The nice part is that the city is far enough south you won't see any snowstorms here. If climate change continues to grow as a problem, you'll most likely see more rainfall and tropical storms hitting the city. Even so, it still is above average in most weather conditions, making it one of America's stormiest cities. Number 8. Kansas City, Missouri. Next, we'll be going to Tornado Alley with Kansas City. You'll see it doesn't get as much rainfall as the last city, but it experiences extreme weather a lot more frequently. Now, Kansas City only receives 42 inches of rain on average per year, but also gets hit by around 50 thunderstorms every year. That's more than Atlanta, and Kansas City's thunderstorm numbers fluctuate quite a bit year to year, sometimes much higher, sometimes much lower. One of the more unique aspects of the city is its location within Tornado Alley. The city itself doesn't normally get hit with tornadoes, but when it does, it normally carves a path of destruction through the city. These deadly tornadoes that comb through the city normally only occur around once per decade. The city may be in the Midwest, but it is below average in annual snowfall, with only an average of 14.5 inches of snow per year. Obviously, this city barely beats the others in rainfall, but has much more frequent extreme weather, and because of that, it deserves a spot on this list. Number 7. New York, New York. Our next stop is a big one, and may be surprising for some of you, and it's New York City. The city sports above-average rainfall, but is lower than the cities earlier on the list with an average annual rainfall of 46.6 inches and an average of 23 thunderstorms per year. These might be low numbers, but as Kansas City, what puts this city where it is on the list is its extreme weather. Because of its unique position, being in the Northeast but still being on the coast, the city is at risk of hurricanes. Most don't make it to the city and fizzle out before reaching the city, but a couple of times in a decade, hurricanes will make it to the city. This happened with Hurricane Irene, causing millions in damages and light flooding. The city only receives about 25.3 inches of snow each year, which is below average, but is extremely cold due to it being on the coast and having high winds. It might not have the most rainfall, but it experiences very extreme weather more often than the cities before it, and that's why it's on this list. Number 6. Houston, Texas. We'll be going to Houston, a gem of the South, and now a beacon for new industry. The city is also especially stormy, with rainfall and some other infrequent events. For one, the city receives about 49.7 inches of rain a year, and around 60 days a year there are thunderstorms. That's more than the average, and is above what's been gone over so far, but this is nothing compared to what's to come. They also are hit by tornadoes every couple of years, and normally once or twice every several years the city is hit by snowstorms. Both occurrences are rare, but because they're rare, they're especially dangerous because the city isn't prepared for it. As climate change continues to progress, the city needs to adapt because these rare occurrences will become more frequent and more destructive. The city definitely has above-average thunderstorms and rainfall, but not to a significant degree. But the rare occurrences are what put it on the list, due to the effects not only because of the effects on the city but the country as well. We're now halfway through our video. We hope you're enjoying learning about these stormy cities. We've covered off over half of them with 5 more to uncover. If you're still with us, comment stormiest cities below. Number 5. Memphis, Tennessee. At number 5, we're going to the city of blues. It's a city most people don't expect, and is one of the wildest cities in the country. With an average of 53.7 inches of rain a year, now that is significantly rainier than the cities we've gone over so far, and it makes it especially humid. This is the interesting part. Tennessee gets about 31 tornadoes a year on average, which is significantly more than the US average, and 14 of those 31 normally are hitting in or very close to Memphis. More tornadoes are hitting Tennessee in a year than some states in Tornado Alley, which is weird considering Tornado Alley is where most tornadoes occur in the US. This is due to Tennessee being located in Dixie Alley, another hotspot for tornadoes. Experts have also found the number of tornadoes occurring in Tennessee is only increasing and will continue to do so. Memphis is very stormy, with rain occurring more than most cities in the US, and with the number of tornadoes hitting the city alone, it deserves a spot on the list. Number 4. Birmingham, Alabama. Next up is an old southern city named Birmingham. The city experiences all sorts of extreme weather, and you'd be surprised what kind of weather occurs there. The city gets about 56 inches of rain a year, and thunderstorms are very common there. Birmingham, like Memphis, is in Dixie Alley, making it very susceptible to tornadoes. Alabama itself averages around 60 tornadoes a year, and in 2011, Alabama got hit by 145 tornadoes. Birmingham gets hit by a significant number of these tornadoes, and is labeled the 3rd highest tornado city in the US. Tornadoes are not the only issue with Birmingham. In fact, every decade, one major hurricane makes landfall in Alabama. This normally causes significant torrential rain and some minor flooding. Even when hurricanes don't hit the state, the arms of a hurricane can pass over the state, causing plenty of thunderstorms in the area. Not only is the city plagued by heavy rain, but it's also in constant danger of tornado watches. Like Memphis, are only going up in numbers, so who knows, in a couple of years, it might deserve to be higher on the list. Number 3. Miami, Florida. At number 3, you had to know a city in Florida was coming, and it's Miami. The dazzling city lies on the coast, it's very stormy, and the stats really show it. Miami clocks in at an average annual rainfall of 61.9 inches, and 80 days out of the year there are thunderstorms. That means a quarter of the year Miami is experiencing thunderstorms. It's not just thunderstorms that cause rainfall in Miami though. Every 6 to 8 years Miami is hit by a hurricane. On top of that, tropical storms hit the city every year. Miami is constantly threatened by tropical storms and hurricanes due to it being located on the lower west coast. The city is extremely stormy due to this location, with tropical storms and hurricanes that move up from the Caribbean towards the US. These weather conditions are only getting worse, and scientists have found that hurricanes are only increasing in frequency and intensity. This puts the city more at risk of flooding, and the city will soon have to adapt. Number 2. New Orleans, Louisiana. Next up is the city below sea level, New Orleans. The city is known to have problems with flooding and heavy rain, and by rumor alone, you should know this is a very stormy city. The average annual rainfall in the city is 63 inches, and the number of annual thunderstorms ranges from 50 to 70. There's also the fact that New Orleans experiences about 20 days of extreme thunderstorms a year, whereas a large majority of the US only experiences about 13 days of extreme thunderstorms. These facts, lined up with the already swampy and low-level area of the city, causes it to flood quite a bit. There's also the matter of hurricanes, in which major hurricanes make landfall within the city once every decade. This, combined with all the extreme weather, can have extremely disastrous outcomes. For instance, in 2020, when Hurricane Laura hit the city, it caused major flooding and major damage to the city's infrastructure. All of this comes together to create a very stormy city. Not the stormiest, but that's why it's at number 2. You're nearly at the end of our video. Which city do you think will take the number 1 spot? We're on a mission to explore all of Earth's amazing destinations. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you'll always be notified of our latest videos. Number 1. Orlando, Florida. At our number 1 spot, we're back in Florida, specifically Orlando. Just like Miami, the city experiences heavy rainfall and is at constant risk of hurricanes and tropical storms. Don't be fooled by the fact that the city only gets 51.5 inches of rainfall a year. The city experiences 81 to 90 days of thunderstorms every year, which is the highest out of any city in the U.S. These facts alone should make it the stormiest city in the U.S., but as a famous game show host would say, but wait, there's more. Orlando is the safest city in Florida from hurricanes, but that doesn't mean that it's safe from the tropical storms that surround those hurricanes. All those hurricanes that pass by the state may not make landfall in Orlando, but they have disastrous effects on the city like flooding and downpours. These weather patterns have major effects on the area, with the Kennedy Space Center, Disney Park, and Universal Park, all located nearby, all experiencing damages and tourism being turned away because of closures. Overall, it may not normally get hit by hurricanes, but it is storming in Orlando more than any other city in the US, and that's why it's at the #1 spot. Hey, thanks for watching. Want to suggest a video or have something to say? Let us know in the comments section below. Check out our cities playlist for more videos like this one.